Well, hello and welcome to this month's Connect, Communicate, and Coach webinar. I'm Kimberly Lane, your host. We're going to talk about back to the office and 5 ways to jumpstart your culture. Let's just jump into it. I'm your host, Kimberly Lane. I am a professional speaker. I'm passionate about helping teams, leaders, and employees and organizations find a more sense of connection and community because that breeds better productivity and better relationships professionally and ultimately personally. I'm also an executive coach. I'm a team building partner, best-selling author of Connections Change Everything, which you can find on Amazon. And I'm also principal of KCC, the Kimberly Connection Company. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about, as we're moving back to the office, or even if you're already in the office and more employees are starting to come in, what we can do to kind of jumpstart our culture. It's a great opportunity to have a fresh start and to be the leader that you wish to be. We'll talk about safe and creative environments, how we set the example, the power of breaking bread, creating fun, and encouraging team collaboration. A safe and creative environment. I'm going to highlight a company that I know through the Business Development Guild here in Orange County. It's called Steelcase. They're actually in Michigan, but they're one of the older organizations that manufacture furniture, but they've stood the test of time because of their willingness to constantly look at creating new innovation in the work environment and space. And that's exactly what they've done as we're looking at going back to the office. They say safe does not necessarily need to mean sterile. We can look at it as an opportunity for redesign, but we do not have to forgo the need for community and connection. So they recommend creating safe social hubs that are welcoming or flexible meeting spaces that allow for large groups for collaboration. Maybe there's just going to be a one-on-one between a sales vice president and his sales representative, or maybe an individual needs focused time to answer an RFP, whatever, but they're all kind of in a spread out space where we're all sharing the same space. However, it allows for different needs at the given moment. And it's necessary too, to allow for the tools for collaboration. So whether it's whiteboards, large screens, internet access, snacks, food, and beverages. So I highly recommend you reach out to Steelcase. I have no obligation to them or connection other than I really have liked how they're really trying to address the needs in the workspace today with trying to be safe and healthy and yet not create such a sterile environment that we feel more disconnected at the office than we do even at home. Set the example. As a leader, it's up to you to set the example. We know actions speak louder than words, right? So it's up to you to start the precedence. Maybe you are just as anxious as everybody else about going back to the office, trepidation about, I haven't had client meetings in a long time. I haven't had face-to-face meetings in a long time. I haven't been in a suit in a long time, right? So just, share your natural feelings about what you're uncomfortable with. It doesn't have to be anything really severe, if you will, but just share your uncomfortable, awkward perception of what's going to happen when you're going back to the office or how you feel. It basically allows others around you to share what they're feeling. And that's really essentially what you're trying to do, is just create a safe environment that others are willing to express how they feel, which then you as a leader can address, right? Empathy, be patient and be understanding and not so quick to judge others. Set the example. So for example, if Sally just seems a little off-put by the fact that we all have to have lunch today to have a team meeting, maybe just say, Sally, I feel like you're a little uncomfortable about all of us getting together for lunch. Give her an opportunity to voice her opinion, to share how she feels. This way, when we have more information versus immediately putting our expectations on other people, we start to judge. But by asking the right questions and giving other people to comment why they feel the way they do or why they're doing the things that they do, it helps us to bring understanding and then therefore patience and less judging. Additionally, I would really encourage, since we're back to the office, let's take advantage of what we're there for. We've been absent the human connection of in-person collaboration, being able to bounce things off of each other, water cooler conversations, coffee conversations, lunch conversations. include others as much as possible in your projects. I don't care if you're just trying to design the agenda for your next strategy meeting, pull other people in. You'll be surprised on what they're able to contribute in innovation and creativity and how much value they get out of being part of the dialogue. The power of breaking bread. This cannot be underestimated. I have devoted an entire chapter in my book, Connections Change Everything, to the power of breaking bread, why it has stood the test of time as far as a natural way for us to connect with others and to bond. You know, way back when men were killing deer and bears and whatever, and having community, smoking pipes over a campfire as they roasted the meat, or women connected or collected berries, if you will. So it's just the preparation of food and the joint sharing of food is just a natural way to create a nurturing and connecting environment. It's inevitable. And so the more you can take advantage of people being in the office, whether you cater in lunch, whether you have team happy hours, whether you have opportunities where even spouses come in and it's a team dinner, whatever you can do to create personal interaction over the shared experience, because you're sharing sensations, same food or similar ambiance, similar experience, mood, music, laughter, all of it. You can just not underestimate the power of breaking bread. And as I had mentioned, Steelcase even started to mention the fact that trying to introduce coffee or snack hubs throughout your organization's layout. So it's not just the cafeteria where people go to have a cup of coffee and have that one-on-one meeting. Have these coffee and snack hubs throughout your kind of almost like a pod, if you will, that allows for introducing food from a connection point as well as creating that team collaboration. They even actually suggested that the world moving forward might be more of, carts that deliver meals or deliver snacks to teams working together, or one-on-ones, or focus working. So keep that in mind. But the power of breaking bread cannot go away. It's inevitable in the essence that it is a significant way to build bonding, trust, and a really good relationship with anybody. Create fun. My gosh, we have been head down into Monday, just hard work for the past 18 months. Working from home has just been a drag for most of us, right? We've been absent just the normal ways we function, the normal conversations over the water cooler, the impromptu coffees. Homeschooling kids is a very big challenge, in addition of working from home, along with anything else, pets, having spouse there too. It's just different. And so now that we're able to get back to the office, even if it's not every day, when you're there, let's try to have a little more levity than usual, have a little more fun, take advantage of the fact that we are in person with other humans. We need this connection point. We need to be with other people, and we need to celebrate and find fun in being back in the office. Maybe you create a band. Maybe you have a challenge of the bands. Maybe you have a choir. Maybe you have a chess team. Maybe you have paintball where the senior vice presidents go after the chief executives. Whatever it is, it's important to really try to really encourage levity. And again, that begins with you as the leader. More levity and more conversations, more what's going on, more how do you feel about this, more what would you like to see different. Whatever you can do, maybe designate within your team a rotation where one individual produces the weekly meme or the weekly comedy line to kick it off with a sense of levity. It's an opportunity to really try to introduce creativity that breeds fun, fun that breeds bonding. And finally, we'll talk about encourage team collaboration. There's a book called Social, and in it talks about we have a natural default mechanism, which is considered social on, where I think most people think that our default mechanism as humans is social off. It's vice versa. When we are not focused on a task or a major project, and we're actually just, our minds are not being directed to something specific, we will naturally think about our relationships and how we relate to other people. Is it positive? Is it negative? What can we do to change it? What can I contribute to change it, et cetera, et cetera. So our natural default is to be social on. If we think about when we're working on a project, especially during COVID and the pandemic, we were working from home. So a lot of times we didn't have resources of being able to reach out to other people, or easily, I should say, get a hold of other people. So a lot of the burden was on ourselves. But the point here is, when you find yourself really diving into a project or something, and you're feeling like it's not moving as far as you wish, it's time to turn on social, meaning it's time to reach out to other people. We are natural human collaborators. We naturally need others around us. We do more together than we do apart. We could not have built homes in the early centuries without the help of others, right? We could not have found food or raised our young without the help of others. It has not really changed. Our natural innate ability and desire is to be with others. And so do not deny yourself the opportunity to actually ask other people to help you. Weigh in on what you're doing, weigh in on your mission statement, weigh in on your executive summary for your RFP, weigh in on the timeline you're developing for the project for your client. It's important to include others, and you can't do enough of that. You cannot do enough of team collaboration and having conversations and bouncing ideas off of each other. Highly, highly, highly recommend as we're moving forward. So before I talk about Let's Connect, I'm going to summarize 5 things we need to look at as we're moving back to the office to help jumpstart the culture that we've always wanted. It's time to turn the workplace into the community place, right? So let's look at making that environment safe, but you can also still make it very connecting and a community environment by creating hubs that are great for collaboration, for individual focus, or for one-on-ones, and also include the coffee or the snack bars, right? Secondly, you are the leader, you set the stage, you lead by example. You start being vulnerable, you start being empathetic, you start being collaborative and inviting others into your projects and agendas. That's powerful. Third, shared experiences. We cannot have enough shared experiences now that we're getting back to work and being able to mingle with others. It's a great way to build bonding. The power of breaking bread. Don't underestimate the power of breaking bread. It could be a cup of coffee. It could be an impromptu lunch. It could be getting spouses there for everybody to go out for a Saturday night team dinner. The more you get to know people personally over a casual conversation and sharing some food is just a powerful way to build trust, connection, and really capitalize on a shared experience. And then finally, team collaboration. We do best when we're with others. We do best when we pull in others. We are natural team collaborators and we need each other. So now that you're back in the office, time to pull in and ask and have those conversations with the person next door or the water cooler conversation. Don't isolate yourself. Reach out more than you would normally do to try to find team collaboration. And there you have it. Those are the 5 ways to jumpstart your culture as you get back to the office. If you'd like to connect with me, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to the Kimberly Connection Company at www.kimberly-lane.com. You can also like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Power of Connection and Biz with Kimberly Lane. And more importantly, if you have an idea that connects people in the office now that we're going back, or helps to build better communities of connection in the office, please reach out to me. I would love to have you on my show. Follow me on LinkedIn at Kimberly Lane or the Kimberly Connection Company. And then finally, you can also find me on Facebook as the Kimberly Connection Company. Bye for now.